There are relics, and then there are warnings. This one? It was both, buried beneath black suns and silent moons, hidden for millennia in the cold belly of forgotten space. They called it Ethra, the living armor, forged before star charts, before galactic councils, before war had a name. No one remembers who made it. Not even the oldest records from the Ascendancy could recall its birth. Some said it came from the death throes of a dying god. Others believed it was a weapon forged to kill one. Whatever the truth was, one thing remained. It never chose wrong, and it never chose easy. Every empire tried, from the crystalline monarchs of Vel'Jin to the brutal war castes of the Kavar Dominion. They brought champions, warriors, hybrids, machines. They prayed, they sacrificed, they bled. But the armor refused them all. Some it incinerated, others it tore apart from within. It didn't matter how strong they were, how noble, how pure, none were enough. Each time it left behind only one message, carved in burning script on the wall behind its resting place: not worthy. And so it became a myth, a tomb, feared and left alone, until humanity found the stars, and everything changed. The mission wasn't sanctioned. Nothing is anymore. The sovereignty declared humanity extinct after the Zaleth genocide. Earth became ash. Our colonies shattered. Our fleets lost to ambush and betrayal. What's left of us hides in the dark. We steal. We scavenge. We survive. But one man wanted more. Captain Dax Wren didn't believe in myths. He believed in outcomes. Special tactics, Black Ops, Ghost Unit. His name was struck from every registry after the fall of New Geneva. But if you asked the right people in the wrong places, they'd whisper a different story. That Dax Wren was still alive, still fighting, and that he was hunting for Ethra. The drop pod punched through the storm layers of Zeros 9 like a warhead. No welcome beacon, no landing pad. Just jagged rock, rusted lightning, and death in every breath of atmosphere. When the pod hit ground, it cratered the ash. Silence. Then, the hatch blew open. Steam. Sparks. A figure stepped out, rifle first. Ragged cloak flapping. Armor scorched. Face drawn tight from years without peace. That was Dax. No ceremony, no speech, just a grunt and a quiet whisper, lost in the wind. Right where they buried you. The ruins were older than language. Obsidian towers stabbed the sky, broken walls etched with symbols that moved when you weren't looking, echoes that sounded like whispers, even when your comms were dead. The deeper he went, the quieter everything became, until even his heartbeat seemed too loud. Bones lined the path. Some still wore pieces of ceremonial armor, cracked, melted, fused to the floor. Others knelt in eternal prayer before black monoliths, their mouths open in a final scream. Dax didn't blink, just kept walking. He passed a Kavar war priest, 4 arms spread in supplication. The body was twisted inward, spine shattered like glass. An imperial executioner, still holding his 2-handed glaive, fused to his bones. And a sovereignty noble, golden armor crumpled, eyes empty, as if drained of soul, all of them, rejected. Then he saw it. The chamber was circular, perfect, as if carved by gravity itself. In the center floated a single object, untouched by time. The armor. Ethra. It hovered inches above a cracked pedestal. Not resting, not waiting, breathing. A slow, rhythmic pulse of light shimmered across its surface, colors that didn't exist outside dream space. It didn't hum like a machine. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Dax stepped forward and felt it instantly. Pressure, like 1,000 minds suddenly staring straight into his soul. His grip on the rifle tightened. Sweat broke down his spine, despite the freezing air, but he didn't stop. He spoke, quietly, not a plea, a truth. "I'm not a king," his voice echoed off the chamber walls. "I'm not a hero, or a god, or whatever the others claimed to be." He kept walking, slow, measured, eyes locked on the armor. "I lost my world." Another step. "My people are dying out there, scattered, forgotten." Another. "I don't want revenge." He stopped just short of the pedestal, face to face with the living metal. "I want a chance." Silence. A breath. He reached out. "Choose me." The explosion of light was instant. Every nerve in his body detonated. His lungs collapsed, bones shattered, skin turned to fire. Then, just as fast, it reassembled him. Stronger, faster, not just healed, transformed. The armor consumed him, flowing over muscle, merging with bone, sinking to thought. He didn't wear it. It became him. And for the first time in all recorded history, Ithra chose. Dax slammed to the floor. Dust erupted around him. His hands dug into the stone. He gasped, eyes glowing, veins lit with starlight. The armor shifted like liquid metal, reshaping to his breath. He looked down. He was whole, and more. "Still me," he whispered. The armor pulsed back, affirmation. But then, the walls shook. The chamber split with a seismic rumble. Far above, across the storms of Zeros 9, red beacons lit the sky. The sovereignty had been watching. They'd always known this place was dangerous, but they never expected the armor to choose. Not a human. Not now. And they'd do what they always did with anomalies. They'd burn it to ash. The comm in his helmet crackled, barely audible through the interference. "Dax! It's Lyra!" Her voice, strained, desperate. "They know. The sovereignty's en route. Get out. Now!" He didn't answer, just stared at the chamber, at the bones, at the legacy, then clenched his fists and turned toward the exit. His voice, quiet, unshaken. "Let them come." They came fast. Sovereignty assault carriers. 6 of them, dropping out of slip space like daggers from the void, each bristling with firepower. Atmospheric burners, plasma hammers, troop bays spilling over with elite shock troops in black gold armor. They weren't here to negotiate. They were here to erase. "Dax, move!" Lyra's voice cracked through the comm again. "They're already in atmosphere. 3 minutes tops." "I'm not running." "You don't have to win, just survive. Fall back to the extraction point. We'll burn what we can on the way out." Dax stared at the broken sky above. "No." He touched the armor. It responded, flexing, adapting, power blooming beneath the surface like a star held in his chest. "This is where it starts." The ruins trembled as the first dropships broke through the cloud cover. Massive engines screamed across the surface. Sovereignty banners flared red in the dust. Heavy walkers deployed from their hulls, each one a mobile fortress bristling with railguns and hunter drones. Ground forces advanced in formation, 50, maybe 60 troops, linked by tactical mesh, hive-trained, synchronized by combat AI. The kind of strike meant to level a rebel base in under 3 minutes. Not a single man. Certainly not a human. Dax walked into the open. No cover, no backup. Just ash, wind, and the soft hum of the armor around him. The Sovereignty commander stepped forward, encased in Mech Titan exosuit, 8 feet tall, blade arm mounted, dual plasma cannons already warming. "Stand down!" the voice boomed, mechanical, cold. "You are in possession of a restricted relic. Hand it over." Dax didn't flinch, didn't speak. He just stared. 1 heartbeat. 2. Then, the armor moved. Not like a weapon, like a living thing. Spikes of energy snapped across his shoulders. Plates shifted along his spine. His eyes burned white. The ground beneath his feet cracked. He charged. To Sovereignty forces, it didn't compute. A single human, no matter the armor, shouldn't be able to breach formation. But Dax wasn't human anymore. Not fully. The first railgun fired. He dodged mid-step, sprinting sideways with bone-bending velocity. Kicked off a rusted wall. Launched himself through a scout unit. It exploded in a shower of sparks and shattered plating. 2 more turned on him. Dax vanished. Appeared behind them. A single strike. Ethra's gauntlet erupted with kinetic force, sent 1 airborne. Another met his fist mid-swing, crushed. The Sovereignty tried to adapt. Drones swarmed him, sniper fire from the ridgelines. A walker locked missiles. Dax turned. His armor split into jagged edges, repelling the micro-missiles in a concussive shockwave. His arm morphed, formed a blade of phase energy. He drove it through the walker's head like a hot needle through ice. Metal shrieked. Fire bloomed. The air filled with screams and static. Inside his helmet, his heart raced. Not from fear, from clarity. For the first time in years, he felt alive. But it wasn't endless. The armor, though powerful, wasn't infinite. Each attack drained it. Each shift cost energy. And they were adapting. By the 4th wave, they came with psi disruptors, targeted pulses that slammed against his nervous system. He dropped to 1 knee, gasped, blood in his mouth. Another squad approached, weapons raised, Lyra's voice in his ear again. "Dax, they'll overwhelm you. I'm inbound. Just hold." "No!" He pushed up, legs shaking, vision blurred. The armor growled, like it felt his pain, like it fed on it. Dax roared, and the armor answered. Ether light surged from his spine. Arcs of raw, ancient power lashed out in a radius. Machines fried. Troopers screamed. The air exploded into a white storm of energy, and when it cleared, nothing stood. Except him. Silence again. Ash falling like snow. His breath heaved. "Still alive," he whispered. But then, above, he heard it. A new sound. Lower. Bigger. The Sovereignty had sent a Titan-class Omega frame. Orbital platform. Anti-armor. Planet leveling. Not a war machine. An executioner. It landed with a sonic boom. 100 meters tall. Weapon ports cycling. Target locked. Dax stared up at it and smiled. "You sure you're ready for this?" he asked the armor. It pulsed once and opened a new circuit in his HUD. Limiter override. Enabled. His grin widened. "Then let's dance!" It wasn't a battle anymore. It was extinction, on a timer. The Omega frame loomed overhead, massive, silent, alive with hate. Its alloyed limbs hissed with pressure vents. Its chest core hummed with stored solar energy. Massive targeting lenses rotated, tracking Dax with inhuman precision. This thing didn't fight. It deleted. The first shot came without warning. A lance of violet plasma, thicker than a transport shuttle, screamed through the ruins. Dax barely moved in time. The beam vaporized half a mountain behind him. He flew sideways, tumbling across broken stone, armor scraping, joints locking under pressure. His HUD flared with damage indicators. Fracture, left forearm, coolant spike, 73%, core sink, 92%. The armor whispered through neural impulse, "You must adapt." Dax coughed blood, pulled himself up, looked at the monster above, and charged again. No hesitation, no plan, just momentum, and the fire in his veins. The Omega frame responded with surgical annihilation, kinetic barrage, sonic cannons, seeker missiles, all launched in perfect sync. Dax sprinted through the chaos, ducking, vaulting, dodging firestorms that shredded everything behind him. Then, mid-run, he leapt, straight toward its chest. The frame reacted, swung a building-sized arm, but Dax vanished mid-air, reappeared behind the arm. New armor module activated. Phase blink. Type V. Short-range shift. He hit the Titan's shoulder, slammed a fist into the joint. Aethra's gauntlet erupted, sending sonic ripples deep into the mechanical tissue. Hydraulics screamed. The limb twitched. He sprinted up the back, claws forming at his feet to grip the alloy, reached the spine, and drove both hands in. The Omega frame howled, a deafening machine-born scream that cracked the surrounding ruins. It reached back, grabbed him, ripped him free, slammed him into the ground, then again, then again. Dax's vision swam, bones cracked, HUD blurred, even the armor flickered. Then, silence. He lay in a crater, bleeding, broken, half-conscious, smoke curling off his chest plate. One word drifted from the armor into his mind. Surrender? Dax coughed again, grinned through blood. That wasn't even my best shot. He stood, barely, and roared. It wasn't just pain. It was defiance. He wasn't a warrior. He was human, born in gravity and flame, forged in loss, sharpened by desperation. He didn't fight because he wanted to win. He fought because there was no other choice. The armor understood. It shifted again, unlocking deeper. Symbols across his chest plate lit up in patterns never seen before. Releasing, Aeon Core. The sky darkened. Reality twisted. Above the Omega frame, a rift split the clouds, not a weapon, a wound, and from it, energy poured, the kind no scanner could define, chronolight, phase static, memories made solid, all of it, feeding into Dax. He rose into the air, body limp but alive, armor glowing with something far older than science. He had become more than a soldier. He had become a vessel. The Omega frame knew. It launched everything. Missiles, lances, quantum mines. Dax opened his arms, and the armor absorbed it all, turned the kinetic force into speed, turned the pain into power. He vanished, then reappeared inside the Titan's head and whispered, "Your turn." He reached out, touched the neural core, and ripped it apart. The Omega frame collapsed, 100,000 tons of war machinery dead. Silence thundered across the landscape. He stood there, shaking, steam rising from his body, the armor slowly dimming, and he heard Lyra's voice again, softer this time. "You did it." But Dax didn't celebrate. He looked at the cratered sky and whispered, "No, I started it." Because now, the galaxy knew. The armor was real, and it had chosen a human. And the sovereignty? They wouldn't stop. They'd send more. Bigger. Faster. Worse. But now Dax had a message, one the galaxy would never forget. Come for me. Bring everything, and I'll show you what worthy really means. They didn't wait. Not this time. The Sovereignty sent a fleet. Not scouts, not titans, a crucible. A god-killer-class battleforge the size of a moon, designed to test civilizations, to decide if they deserved to rise or vanish. And it was here, for one man. Dax stood at the edge of the last plateau, eyes fixed on the black tear in the sky where the crucible drifted into low orbit. He didn't blink, didn't speak, didn't pray. He simply let the wind hit his face and whispered, "Took you long enough." The Ithra armor had changed. It no longer looked forged. It looked grown. Each plate hummed with veined energy, alive with memory, as if the galaxy's forgotten history now clung to his skin. But there was something else, something beneath the rage, the power, a cost. Inside his skull, the armor spoke. No voice, just pressure, emotion, imprint. Aeon Wake initiated. Final form ready. Survival rate, 6.2%. He exhaled, quiet, resolute. Not here to survive. I'm here to finish it. Above, the crucible opened. It didn't fire beams. It spoke. The signal shook tectonic plates. A gravity well collapsed near Saturn. Entire oceans pulled toward the sky. Then, it began deploying the null host. Thousands of machines. Organic, inorganic hybrids. No emotion, no fear. Programmed to kill the idea of resistance. They descended like obsidian rain, fast, silent. Black spears on wings of flame. Dax didn't move. Not until they landed. Then, he leapt. He hit the first wave like a meteor, fists through steel skulls, energy lashes erupting from his back, telemetry spiking into the red. Every step cracked the earth. Every scream was short-lived. They tried to flank. He blinked behind them. Tried to swarm. He ignited a shockwave that folded time within 10 meters. But they just kept coming. For every 10, he downed. 100 followed. And then 1,000. He was bleeding. Ithra's seams split open, exposing flashes of his own burning skin beneath. Bones rattled, vision blurred. His body was done. But the armor kept moving. It dragged him forward, and he let it. Because this wasn't about survival. It never was. It was about making them remember. That humanity doesn't kneel. We burn, we rise, and when we fall, we take everything with us. He reached the base of the Crucible's main descent spire, climbed it by force, blew holes in hull plating, tore through elite guards with a scream, and inside the command core, he found it. The source, a machine thought, a sovereignty consciousness older than any empire. It greeted him without anger, only curiosity. You should not exist. He coughed blood, grinned. Yeah, we do that. He opened his arms, let the armor do the rest. The final protocol activated. Aeon core, burn. The crucible lit up from the inside. A singularity collapsed in its chest. A star ignited in its core. And in a flash, the sky turned white. They saw it from orbit, from Mars, from Titan, from outposts light years away. A signal, brighter than anything the Sovereignty had ever known. A human had taken their god machine with him. Lyra watched from her ship, tears in her eyes, whispers in her throat. You mad, stubborn bastard. There was silence after. No retaliation, no pursuit. Just fear. and a message broadcast across every known channel. 4 words, spoken in a quiet human voice. We are not prey. Epilogue. Months later. The Erythrosite lies quiet again, ruins untouched, wind brushing the broken stone, and deep beneath it, something stirs. In the darkness, a pulse, a breath, and the faintest echo of a voice. Round 2.